Alright, we're going to continue with our little retrospective on the X-Men film franchise. Pick up right where we left off. We're going to get into X2, X-Men United. The first X-Men wasn't quite as good as I remembered it being. This one, though, did not disappoint. This movie does so much right, and it does so much better than it was the first time. Because what happens is, if you do it right, your first movie, you establish the origin. You get all your exposition out of the way, your character introductions, etc., etc., etc. Then, you get to the sequel, and you can really start to just play with it. Everything that was good about the first one is better about this one. And even the people who weren't great the first time around are decent this time around. I'm looking at you, Halle Berry. And there's some other things. There was something that I had mentioned about the first X-Men movie, that it was a bit Wolverine-centric. Now, the reason that bugged me in that film is there was no particular reason for that one to be Wolverine-centric. This time, it makes sense and it's organic to the story. Because this time we have our villain, we have William Stryker. Because Wolverine is tied up with this guy's past, makes it logical that Wolverine is going to be central to sorting all of this out. Other thing that is a huge improvement over the first X-Men is the addition of scope. X-Men 1, it felt very small in terms of its scale. X-Men 2 feels much bigger. It feels bigger for a number of reasons. One, the stakes so much higher than they were in the first film, and even beyond that, the world is bigger because, you know, we're just jumping around locations more. But here's the key. Not only does it have scale, but it manages to maintain the sense of intimacy, which was something that the first film had and was a very good thing to not lose. It would have been very easy in introducing scale to lose that more tight-knit feeling that the first film did have, but it didn't lose it. It kept it. In fact, it built on it, even with new characters added like Nightcrawler. It just fits in seamlessly. And I also want to say they've done a really good job in terms of introducing new X-Men. Whether it be someone heavily featured like Nightcrawler, or whether it be someone literally just tossed in there like Colossus. That's a great way to just introduce the character. Just have him show up and kick a lot of butt. That right there is excellent fan service, is what that is. The villains, Magneto and Mystique, to have them come back, to have them team up with the good guys, but not lose their edge. And that sort of temptation that they had going on with Pyro really helped emphasize the power that Magneto has, beyond just his mutant powers, but the enticement of other mutants and the way he recruits to his cause. Now, coming back to William Stryker, it was a great idea to bring in a human villain. Because before, as I said, when it was just mutant versus mutant, it was too insular. Let's bring in a third party. Let's bring in someone else who says, you know what? I've had it with all of you. I'm taking you all out. And by having him be a human, rather than having him just be a bigger and badder mutant like Apocalypse or something like that, it just helps reinforce all of the important themes of X-Men that have helped it endure for so long in the comic books. The prejudice, the outcast, that gets it reinforced all the stronger by having the human villain who hates this group of people. There's a couple of stumbling points here. It's not a perfect film. Cyclops kind of gets the shaft. He disappears for most of the runtime, which a little bit of a bummer. Lady Deathstrike, as cool as she was and as cool as that fight with Wolverine was, she feels a little underdeveloped. But I mean, these are quibbles. This thing holds up. It's probably still going to rank as the best X-Men movie made to date. So, on that note, this Council of Geeks is adjourned.